are you? Someone trying to play the piccolo.
That's what it sounds like to the untrained ear, but I am an ivory-billed woodpecker.
Oh.
That's a rare bird.
It makes sense for our guest.
Yes, this week's guest on 5 Words, the podcast.
I'm Caitlin Cook.
That's Caitlin Cook. I'm Sean Patton.
That's Sean Patton.
Yes.
And you're listening to 5 Words, the podcast. This is the podcast where we have on a guest who's going to tell us a story. But before they tell us the story, they tell us 5 key words from that story. Mm-hmm. And then we take those 5 words and what we know about our guest and try and figure out what the story is. And we always fucking nail it.
Ish. I mean, listen to it. And
yeah, you decide for yourselves.
Yeah. So you listen and tell us what you think, because you may think we're nailing it. This is my theory, is that we nail it every time, and the guest doesn't want to feel stupid, so they change it up on us last minute.
Yes.
That's how I feel.
Uh-huh.
This week's guest, the one and only, formerly of TruTV's Those Who Can't, co-creator, writer, performer, actor in it, probably directed an episode or 2.
Yeah.
Soon to be on HBOmax, Those Who Can't.
Yeah.
Has a novel, has multiple comedy specials, has his 4th album coming out today. Or yesterday it came out.
And has a podcast of his own called The Grolics Save the World.
This is Dr. Adam Cayton Holland. Not actually a doctor, but
Adam Cayton Holland.
Doctor of Comedy. Adam Cayton Holland of Denver. And just a fan-fucking-tastic human being, but also awesome comedian. And we get into some crazy...
And a good friend of ours. So
and a good friend of ours.
It's a fun episode.
We were at his wedding. We didn't even talk about that.
We didn't even talk about his wedding.
I feel like we've talked about his wedding a lot.
We have.
But it was we talk about his journeys into a land where he doesn't speak the language and his near-death experience.
Yes. It's a good story. It's a good episode, and we hope you enjoy it. If you happen to be in the New York City area, some shows, outdoor shows, safe, masked, socially distant outdoor shows are starting to crop up.
Yeah.
Sean is doing them. So
I am.
Follow him.
I'm at the stand. Follow me on follow me on Instagram at Mr. Sean Patton.
Yeah.
And Caitlin's got these coming up, but go to Good God.
Yeah, go to follow Good God Comedy on Instagram, because we're doing a show every Wednesday. And this one tomorrow has David Cross headlining. So.
Heard of him. I've heard of David Cross.
Yeah, he's been on the podcast.
He's no Adam Cayton Holland, but I've heard of him.
Well, he's more like a yellow-bellied thrush.
Oh, which sounds a lot like this. That's kind of how yellow-bellied thrushes sound. Anyway, check out Adam. It's great. Get his album. Watch Those Who Can't when it comes out on HBO Max. It's a fan-fucking-tastic show.
Get his book if you want to bawl your fucking eyes out.
Yeah, but check him out. Just AdamCaytonHolland.com. He's a fantastic comedian and human being.
Yeah.
And check out the episode, and we'll see you where the birds land.
Hey, y'all.
What up, man?
How's it going?
Oh, shit. I've slept on that couch.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah.
So's Caitlin.
Yeah. We have a picture of me falling asleep on that couch, and I just look like this.
No. Not falling asleep. We have a picture of you in, like, deep REM. You look like you're in deep REM sleep listening to deep REM cuts.
Nope.
Just, yeah, bro. Yeah. Adam, you look like an REM song come to life.
Thanks, buddy. Early stuff?
Oh, yeah, dude, definitely. Yeah. Like pre-End of the World as we know it, like.
I love it. Like Murmur. Murmur is that's a good album.
Yeah, I feel like REM is to people from the 90s people what I don't even know who to compare them to now. I don't know anything. I don't feel like there's too much music to know shit about music.
I wasn't a deep REM fan, but when I was in Athens, I bought their first album because it felt like the thing to do.
Yeah.
And it's really good. Yeah, I was listening to it the other day. It's like really fucking good. Murmur is a great one.
Murmur.
Yeah.
Check it out. It's a good album title too.
It is. Are you guys not in the same place?
We are in the studio. We're in the 5 Word Studios.
I'm in the front room. Sean's in the back room.
Got it.
Yeah, it's hard to do this shit. Wouldn't it be crazy if now you find out like, oh yeah, no, we haven't been around each other in 4 months.
You're separately quarantining 2 blocks from one another.
Yep.
Yeah. Same apartment, just opposite ends of the kitchen.
Yep.
/studio. We are rolling now, so we're just gonna we do all the intro nonsense up on the tail end, so you don't have to deal with any of that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So we are just ready to go. I got a rando question for you, Adam.
Yes, sir.
Lewis from Cincinnati, Ohio wants to know this. Would you rather $5 million in cash, tax-free, or the ability to time travel, but only 1 minute in either direction?
Oh, the ability to time travel 1 minute in either direction, for sure.
Thank you.
That is a fertile premise. There's so many things that you could do with that. Like, yeah, absolutely. Especially if like terrible shit happens.
Exactly.
You just like go back
1
a minute, change it up.
Yeah.
Now, that's because I feel like there's too many people who think the same thing about $5 million. They're like, well, I have $5 million. I can just, you know what I mean? Something goes wrong. I got money. Like,
Wait.
yeah.
You're talking to a real pretentious asshole. 5 million. I want more than that.
Yeah. The question about the question, you can continue to time travel 1 minute for as many times as you want, right?
That's like your power. Yeah, I believe it's the power you have.
So can you
But only 60.
forward within the minute that you've already time traveled? Would it just like take a really long time to go backwards minute by minute?
Wait, you lost me on that one. You're gonna have to take a minute, go back and re-explain that one.
Time travel a minute forward, but then
Yeah.
during that minute forward, you time travel another minute forward, or do you have to like? Are you stuck for the minute until it runs?
I would think by the rules of this hypothetical question, yes, you can't keep traveling 1 minute by 1 minute by 1 minute by 1 minute. I think you have to wait an hour. I'm adding this to this. That's my caveat to this. You have to wait an hour between travelings.
Wow.
Like
What if
swimming.
you could gamble? You could make so much money gambling off of that information. You could see how games end and go bet on it.
You
Yeah.
can make more than $5 million gambling. So
That would actually make it really interesting because, like you're saying, like you'd have to see how a game ends, but then you can only go back in time 1 minute.
Right.
So you go back 1 minute and like text your friend who's like waiting at a bookie's fucking office with money, like, hold on. All right, Broncos, you know, and then
I mean, I bet you that, I don't know, I don't gamble enough, but I bet you in Vegas there's shit that you can like, all right, let's bet right now on the outcome of this college basketball game with
a
minute left. Like, I'm sure.
I'd be disappointed if Vegas didn't have like 30-second betting. You got 30 seconds. What do you think? Up, win or lose?
Just a guy flipping a coin in the corner. It's like the most rote gambling out there.
And then there's someone betting on which hand that guy's going to flip the coin with.
And I'm watching his move. I've been seeing how he averages right hand like most of the day, but
Right.
where he goes to left. I'm playing the cards.
Yeah, and then there's another guy who's like, what do you think? Over and under a foot, the quarter flies in the air.
Then there's another dude jerking off to all of it.
And there's a guy betting on when that guy's going to come. Like, is he going to come before before it lands or not? That's you know what? I'm okay with Vegas being open right now. So wait, Caitlin, you got one?
yes, I got a question. Freddie from St. Paul, Minnesota wants to know, what creature of the sea would you be and why?
I don't know, man. It feels, this is just first gut answer, Caitlin, or what's his name? Freddie? Freddie, whale. I would like to be a whale. I don't really care what type of whale, but a humpback would be nice, big, sizable whale. I just think they're smart. I think they're beautiful. I think that they're like, have nice family units. Yeah. I think I'd like to be a whale because you can come up and see the world, but you can also go down and see the under the sea.
Nice.
Damn, dude. You've thought more about what creature you'd want to be than you let on.
I mean, I'm glad I'm Freddie, actually. I wrote that question. Set that up. So I thought we could kind of do a different podcast episode and just talk about whales today rather than you guys guessing a story or anything like that.
Yeah.
That would be fucking hilarious if you were like, by the way, guys, just so you know, I'm into whales now. I've seen all the now for those listening who don't know, not only is Adam a author and a TV show creator, writer, and star of and comedian, he's also an avid bird freak.
Yes, that's the term we prefer.
Freak.
Yeah, bird freak. Like,
Yeah.
well, no, I've met bird lovers. Here's the thing about bird lovers. I can't personally, I've never been in Norway and taken a picture of a weird bird and emailed or texted it to a bird lover and been like, what kind of bird is this? And had them respond within the hour.
Yeah.
Like I have with bird freak friend Adam Cayton Holland.
I
That's a
love
real
that.
story.
I love that you do that. It makes me very proud. And I take it as a very personal challenge. Like, if I don't know what it is, I will go find out what that is, because I'm not good enough birder that I know every bird, but I've got tricks for identifying things. So it's like, if you send me a photo, I'm like, okay, I can go down this rabbit hole for a while. I dig it.
That was the first time I've ever seen you be humble, and I don't know if I like it.
Well, I'm sick of being painted into a corner. I'm not about birds anymore. I'm about whales,
Well,
about fucking trees. There's all kinds of boring shit out there that I'm into.
we actually, you know what's really funny, and I won't say their names till later in the podcast, but we were hanging out with a fellow comedian and his girlfriend, his longtime girlfriend. And, you know, because, you know, in New York, it's very interesting right now because, like, we got on top. We all wore fucking masks and distance, and like now it's not back to normal, but you know, you can hang around people and be at, you know, you can drink on the streets now and on rooftops. So we're hanging out with our friend and his girlfriend, or our friends, I should just say, and stop being a fucking chauvinist dipshit. Our friend and his girl, no, like they're both our friends. I'm sorry, but she starts talking. She's fluent. She is also fluent in Spanish and loves birds.
Oh, Simon.
Two things her boyfriend isn't fluent in Spanish, doesn't give a shit about birds. And we were talking about you because we were like, our guest on the podcast this week loves birds and is fluent in Spanish and is also a funny comedian. And there was a moment where it's like, I feel like if we keep talking about this, we might break them up. We might destroy a relationship because she got really.
I'm very happily married to lovely Katie, who's a friend of yours as well. But this girl needs to dump the fucking chud. That dude, I don't even know. It's probably a mutual friend, and I'm gonna regret this. Fuck that dude. He's beneath her. She should go get a Spanish-speaking, bird-loving man.
Well, real quick before we move on to the rest of that, got one last quick question for you. Rory from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And he puts before the question even begins, in parentheses, he puts, just answer, don't think. Okay?
Rory, that's like a weird, threatening way to phrase a question, but okay.
Right. What is your favorite letter of the alphabet and why? And also, after that, he puts word, not letter, as in, okay, why? But what is your favorite letter of the alphabet and why?
Yeah, don't think. X, because it's so hard. It's so hard. X, because like when you're going through kids' books with the alphabet, it's always like, what are they going to do? Probably xylophone. It's like there's very few things that are X.
How many times? What are they going to do? Probably xylophone. How many times can you talk about Xanax in a kid's book? Not that many.
Here's an X-ray. That's disturbing for a child. Nope. Xylophone.
Dude, you want to know something fucking hilarious about that? I love that you said X. Also because when I was a kid, for like 6 months, almost a year, I was prescribed a Xanax for anxiety attacks, and it was the first time I ever realized what a palindrome was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you know it's the way Xanax is spelled, and
Xanax.
Xanax, yeah, or Xanax, yeah. And I remember being blown away by that and pointing it out to my buddy who was like, yeah, palindrome. And I was like, what is a palindrome? And then he fucking pointed out how stupid I was, which only made me more insecure, which only amped up the anxiety while I was on Xanax and made me take more Xanax and ultimately made me realize that I didn't want to be on Xanax anymore.
But the Xanax did calm you down enough to check out letters pretty intensely for the first time.
It did quiet the constant rapids that is my thought process, the Colorado Rapids that is my brain, quieted it down so I can go, oh, look at that. It's the same letter. It's the same word if you flip it backwards or forward. Weird.
Somebody told me early on about Madam, I'm Adam, because I'm named Adam, obviously. And I was like, oh, and then I went down. I love, palindromes are great. Race car, come on.
It always bothered me that the word palindrome isn't itself a palindrome.
Totally. It should be Xanax.
Yeah, it should call it Xanax. Yeah.
From now on, let's refer to palindromes as Xanax as the three of us and just confuse everyone wherever we go.
Yep, that's great.
Yeah, I don't encourage, world or just society-wide medication. However, post this whole thing, every bar should offer sanitizer, condoms, and just Xanax. You know what I mean? But just one. Like, because I do remember there is like a sort of like, okay, feeling that happens when a Xanax takes control. Excuse me.
Wait, I'm curious. I'm sorry. I don't want to hijack the podcast. I want to know your guys' letters because that's such a strange question, Rory. Sean, what's your letter?
Yeah. My letter without thinking is definitely C because I like multilingual letters because you can see.
That's a good one.
And I like a letter that could be a word in if you only had like 10 characters to convey something. Like see you later.
Okay.
Like, see, you can see, and also vision. I like to have vision.
Yeah, that's a great one.
There's a lot going on with the letter C.
What are you, Caitlin?
My first thought was Z because I feel bad for it for being at the end, and it's pretty cool. But I actually think it's M because M, like, it's just nice. It's a nice sound.
Yeah, it's the sound of contentment.
Yeah, and you sing it. It's like the hum sound. I don't know. I like the letter.
Okay, very curious. All right.
I'd like to point out something about the three of us though, and this is not a bad thing or a good thing. This is just a thing. Neither one of us went with a vowel. None of us. But that's also why we're not in the Peace Corps or I feel like if you choose a vowel, it's like, all right, send this guy. He's got to go on a mission and on a mission to a mission.
Yeah. Val's very Teach for America.
Yes, which Caitlin did.
So maybe in those days, Caitlin was an A-E-I-O-U type of person, but she's changed.
I've changed now. I do feel like anyone who chooses the first letter of their name is definitely a narcissist.
That went through my head.
Yes.
But I guess I didn't do the first thought because I was like, no, I don't like that much. I like X, and then so
it's super funny whenever anyone says the phrase when they say do something but don't think about it because it's like you're basically saying immediately think about this. And then pretend like you didn't because there's what I mean? Like I don't know. Like you remember that scene? You remember Ghostbusters the original?
Of course.
Remember at the end when Zool basically gives them basically tells them like anything you think of is going to come to life right now and fuck the city up. And there's that scene where he's like, all right, so everyone just clear their heads. And Ernie Hudson just starts going, like trying to shake the thought. Which, like, I've thought about that scene so many times because of any movie scene I would rather never end up in. It's that one because impossible.
Yeah, that's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man comes after that.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
But I definitely, my first thought, if you tell me the first terrible thing I think is going to come to life and wipe out a city, it's not going to be a fucking Marshmallow Man. The first thought I have is always something like that I'm afraid of psychiatrists to even see. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, first thing that comes to your head is never, you're totally right. It's like the linguistic equivalent of like, I don't want to sound racist, but it's like, this is going to be racist.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, in my version of Ghostbusters, it would have been like the idea of my cousin's vagina. Not my actual cousin's vagina, but just the idea of it would come into the city and destroy it. Because that's the kind of shit when you're like, don't think of anything negative. I'm like, and I think of the worst 10 of the worst things you could possibly think of. And then I'd get to Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, but he would be jerking off. That would also be the thing.
Whoa. And didn't your cousin's vagina was in Ghostbusters 2? Didn't that happen in Ghostbusters 2?
It was edited out. They cut it out because the budget, The budget was huge.
It was female Ghostbusters, so... Oh, the remake. You have to have a vagina in there.
I hope all of my female cousins are listening to this wondering which one I'm talking about and avoiding me at every family gathering from here on out now.
Make them subscribe to Patreon to find out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, so Adam, question though, honestly, what got you into birds? I don't think I've ever asked this.
I wish I had a better answer, but here it is. I read a book called Grail Bird. It's about the ivory-billed woodpecker, which is like the largest woodpecker in in the United States. It's this big honking bird, is rumored to be extinct. But people in your neck of the woods, swamps of like Louisiana
right?
and Arkansas, old Creole people are like, nah, that ain't extinct. I see it. But there's another bird that looks like it that's smaller. And they're like, no, you're seeing the pileated. They're like, no, it's an ivory bill. And so it's this big, like, almost like the Sasquatch of the bird world. It's like, does it exist or does it not exist? And this guy wrote this book about trying to find it, and he argues it existed and like presented all this evidence for having found it. But it was a lightning rod of controversy. Some people were like, no, you didn't. That's not conclusive. And he's like, yes, I did. And so it was just a fascinating adventure read. Like, again, if you don't like birds, it's just a great read. And after that, I was like, birds. And I just like loved birds after that book. And I got fascinated, and now I'm just like a bird watcher.
I mean, sorry.
I think that's a really, like, I love any sort of like weird controversy in such a small like industry or world.
Totally. Yeah, it's a fascinating, you would love it. It's a great book.
What's it?
It's called Grail Bird, like the Holy Grail.
Yeah. I remember the first time you went to New Orleans, we had to allot you some time to go find this ivory wood book, right? Was that the first time when you were like, hey, by the way, sorry, I got to take a day to go to the swamps?
Well, I wanted to go out there and do it. Yeah, totally. I still want to get back in there more. You can sign up and go, like with the Cornell Lab of Ornithology, which is the top bird thing. You can go on expeditions to like the bayou for 2 weeks to try to find it and gather evidence and shit. I've often thought about doing that, but then you're like, it'd be like a mosquito-infested nightmare of 2 weeks. Yeah. But still.
But you would do it.
I'd be into it. I'd love to do it. It'd be something to like write about. It'd be cool.
Yeah, because I don't know. You said right about you. In my recollection, you graduated with a degree in journalism, right, from college?
No. Film.
Did you? Film.
Le cinema.
Wait, what? Did you? But you worked as a journalist. You were a journalist.
Yeah, I was a journalist for Alt Weekly for 5 years. Like, yeah. So I just kind of, that shit's self-taught, baby. There's no J school for this guy. I just ask questions and get answers, buddy.
Yeah.
Journalism. That's what I'm gonna teach myself. I like that idea of someone like, I'm gonna go learn something like film, but if I got a fallback plan, it'll be something I can teach myself, like journalism. Boom.
Just calling people and saying, tell me about this.
Self-taught. Off the record? Fuck that. Life's on the record, baby. As long as the Lord Jesus Christ. And then you become that person, you just go Catholic. We're all on the record with Jesus Christ.
Yep, that's why I got fired.
Really? Did you go through a religious streak?
No. I just got laid off from the newspaper. And that was the motivator that I started pursuing stand-up full-time, man.
Damn.
Yeah.
See, I find it so fucking interesting that like the journeys are all different. But I met Adam in, I want to say 2008.
Probably right around.
But you came to New York. You emailed a bunch of people about spots. You ended up doing the show I co-ran, Cabin.
Yep.
Or I forgot what it was called. It had so many fucking names.
What did you call that show? It was at Cabin.
Second language.
Comedy as a Second Language. CSL. Yeah.
Comedy as a Second Language was the eventual name that stuck. The original name of the show was the Tommy Danger Comedy Hour, and it was based off of another comedian. I don't. He's a good. I don't think he'd care if I fucking said his name, but I'm not going to do it. His last name. When he moved to New York, he was another Louisiana guy. He changed his stage name to Tommy Danger.
Wow.
Which we all thought was hilarious. And then he like was in New York for like a year and then moved, then left. So when we started doing the room, there was 3 of us initially. The thing was, one of us had to do the character of Tommy Danger, who would drop into every show. And the whole gimmick was, it was this one leather jacket and this pair of sunglasses. And the whole gimmick was, you went on stage and you did awful bits that got no laugh. And then you told the audience how much you didn't need this show. That was the whole gimmick. So you go on stage and be like, all right, everyone. So, cupcakes. Well, they don't fit in a fucking cup. You know what I mean? call them shot cakes, because take a shot of a cake. It's just like a mini cake. What, you don't like, you think I need this? You think I need this shot? I got a paid gig at the batting cages in Jersey City in an hour and a half. You think I need this? This is warm up. That was the whole thing.
I love shit like that.
Yeah, and I got too good at it. And
You're like, do Tommy Danger.
It was like what I looked forward to, and Chesley got really annoyed with it, and we just scrapped it eventually because it was like, all right, we got to stop it. Oh, and because there was a third guy involved whose name I won't say, but he would just get straight racist, or it was like
as Tommy Danger or as himself?
Yeah, as Tommy Danger, and we were like, dude, I get it's a character, but like you're up there saying some real shit. So we removed his privileges. We're like, dude, no, you're gonna go up there and just say some fucked up shit's gonna piss people off.
Tommy Danger became the mirror that you were also afraid of.
Yeah. And we just had to break the mirror and throw it away.
Dude. You were gonna be exactly. Break that mirror.
Because I remember if it was like I don't know, it was fun. But anyway, we called it CSL. But that's where Adam, you came and did the show, no beard, and you did a bit that I believe is on your album, your first album, where you read the letter.
Oh yeah, that was about the Ivory-billed woodpecker.
About the Ivory-billed woodpecker.
100%.
The letter that you wrote to Cornell, right? To the university?
No, I wrote a letter to the Museum of Natural History in New York because they had specimens of the Ivory-billed woodpecker not on display, and I asked if I could come see the specimens, and they were like, "No, you're not an educator, you're not a scientist, like no." And I just like kept sending them emails about why not, and like it just turned into this like very funny back and forth, and that was like my best bit. So of course I would do it in New York to try to impress.
Yeah. I like it. You're not an academic. I'm a journalist. I mean, you're throwing that. I'm a journalist for the alt-right weekly. What was it? No, that's not what it was.
Denver's alternative readers need to know about the Ivory-billed woodpecker. It's just like the Village Voice. It's the same. It's called Westward. It's the same parent company. Yeah, dude, that's when we met. That's right. Because I couldn't remember exactly, but I thought it might have been out at What's Up Tiger Lily, because we'd see each other there in LA a number of times as well. That was when the first time we hung out. Yeah.
But that was definitely we met that. I love the idea. Denver's readers when you're not drinking craft brewery or smoking legal weed or playing piano on the street, they love their bird knowledge.
They've got questions, and ACH is out there looking for answers, and the fucking museum was standing in the way.
God damn it!
I met Adam when Sean was doing High Plains. I don't remember what year, maybe 2016, 15?
That would have been, when you went the first time, that would have been 2014, dude.
And we were for some reason staying at your house. I don't know where you were. And I ate an entire wheat chocolate bar and freaked out in your shower room.
Oh, wow.
And,
let's be for the readers. Adam had a house where it was almost like whoever built the house built it and then they built the bathroom last.
Yes.
And they were like, well, we got all this extra shower material.
Yeah.
We're like, well, let's just build half the bathroom as a shower.
Yeah. That was a big, I missed that shower.
That person was as in love with showers as Adam is a bird freak.
Yeah.
Really.
Because it was this house that was just, you went upstairs, it was this quaint little house, this nice little 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. You went in the master bedroom, was like, what is this? What is this chamber of shower heads?
Yeah.
Well, did that shower console you when you freaked out? Was it a good spot for you?
It's calmed me down, which is great. And then I think we had either just met or then we met, and I was like, everything's going to be okay. And then everything was not okay, and then it was okay again. And it was just that for 24 hours.
For the first 5 years of High Plains, it was just a number of comics freaking out on too much weed, on too strong of weed, and to the point where we had to start warning performers. I don't think you were performing that year, but we'd be like, hey, we get it, it's a fun pot playground, but do it after the show. It just kept fucking up performances.
I remember hearing stories about Reggie from the previous year, and everyone being like, okay, we're not going to do that. And then Pete went up first during his.
Wait, hold on. You're just dropping names like everyone listening knows who you're talking about. Reggie Watts in 2014 at the High Plains Comedy Festival
No, 2013. So that wasn't.
Yeah, 2013. At the Gothic Theater.
Yep.
I fucking remember this. It was the only time I've ever seen Reggie too high to function.
Oh, dude. He did a great. It was still a good.
Still funny. It was still very like. Yeah.
But yeah, when Reggie Watts is like saying that weed's too strong,
Yeah.
he's fucking like it's some real shit.
I remember hearing that he couldn't figure out his equipment, which like I've definitely been too high to figure out my own equipment. So I
God, what a night! That's my Ghostbusters moment. That's terrifying. No, I remember that year because like Reggie's Reggie and he's loves his weed, and so like all the weed companies in Denver were trying to like get to him.
Yeah.
And when he got to his hotel room, there was like gift baskets from various dispensaries and shit. So he had, I don't know, who knows what he had, but it definitely, the weed was too loud for Reggie that night.
Dude, that was so fucking fun. Because I remember him backstage just sort of being like, not Reggie like, and you were like, "Is he all right?" He's like, "I think he's too high." And they're like, "That's not even possible. Reggie is marijuana."
Yeah, right, exactly.
He looks like Reggie Watts looks like marijuana personified. If it turned into a human, it would take the form of Reggie Watts.
Reggie was in the Whalers. Yeah. He was an original Whaler. Everyone knows that.
Yeah. And like seeing him on stage, just sort of like, oh fuck, this isn't a character. This isn't a bit. He's too fucking high.
Yeah.
To work his own.
And then Pete Holmes got too high to like really do anything.
That was the year that I was there, and he had his like Pete Holmes and Friends show, but then went up first. Who did Sean close out? Did Camille close out?
No, it was Josh Blue.
Josh Blue closed out. And he's like, they needed a comic that could handle their weed. It was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, after that, after Pete and Reggie like back-to-back years, were like, let's talk to the performers about how strong this weed is.
Yes, very important. But
what?
Not happening this year, which is sad.
I know. We should be seeing each other in Edinburgh in a few days, and then you guys should be coming to Denver after that. But as everyone knows, things done changed.
Yeah, we're on a different timeline now.
Yes, we are.
I mean, it just hopefully means in a year everything can happen, and
that's
it's
my
just
hope.
So much better.
Yeah,
that's my hope. But it's nice to see both of you here.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't know. I look forward to the most, and I try and tell everyone, because we all have our little freakouts. It's like, look, just because if something's got to get canceled this year, that just means it'll be that much more special when the shit comes back.
Well, we had just planned an outdoor show, like the Grolix. There's this venue in town. It's like an outdoor amphitheater. They reached out to us, and it was going to be so socially distanced and safe. And then the city just said no. Like the city just kind of told them they're not doing anything. So it's like I was so excited to just do it, and it sold out immediately. And they're like, "We'll do 2 next month," and then it went away. And for the day, I was like, "Man, that sucks." And then I was like, the next day, it's like, "Well, add it to the pile." Like I'm getting pretty used to like these things coming and going. So I hope you're right, Sean. It'll just be cooler when we do it in better times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, man. Because like but it's that I always like the Rockies. Like, so we were in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. That's where we were like a month before it all went down. Man, not even a month. Fuck that. Maybe like a week and a half. 2 weeks.
Couple weeks. Yeah. Yeah.
And like, I've thought about that so many times about like, what if we just stayed in the Rockies and just like just like lived off the land, and then just took that year of just like, all right, man, fuck it. We're going to just live this year. We're writing it off as the mountain year.
Hell yeah. You two should be some Yampa Valley whitewater rafters for this entire fucking year, dude.
Love it. I got down a van life rabbit hole for a while. I still sometimes do, where I'm like, why are we here? Like, let's just get a van and see the country.
My neighbors bought a camper, and that's the new flex. Everybody's like flexing with their camping gear, like, because that's all you can do. But they bought a camper, and they take their little 5-year-old out every weekend and just like gone for 3 days in the mountains. I was like, that's great. I'm jealous.
Up the life.
That's like, is that a thing in people in Colorado that have like escape houses in the mountains, or like?
Oh yeah. Are you kidding me? That's a very big status symbol. Like there's all sorts of them. There's like my parents have one, but they only got one later in life because they, doing well enough. But ski house, forget about it. That's like a big rich kid bragging point in Colorado for sure.
But I mean, like specifically, do you think anybody has like an oh shit farm? You know what I mean? Like not a shit farm, but like we're gonna go here when the shit goes down.
Oh yeah, it's like Colorado's like Oregon. You know, you get out of the city and it's like, wow, it's getting real libertarian real fast out here.
Yeah. Real just Terrian. Just add that to the end, man.
Yeah, a bunch of dudes named Terry. Just fucking stockpiling cans.
I'm a Terrian, man. You know what that means?
Nope.
I just stockpile shit. Don't call me a hoarder. I ain't a hoarder. I only stockpile things you can use, like beans and 9mm shells. That's all I got.
Don't tread on me flags.
And I didn't know that wasn't a Metallica song. That's what I thought. I didn't know it was governmental. And that's me making fun of myself, because when I was a kid, I was like, wait, that's a quote from who? I thought it was from James Hetfield. It's not?
Don't tread on me is?
I thought it was a Metallica thing when I was a kid.
That's badass. Whenever I see that flag, I'm going to be like, hell yeah. I'm going to have a whole new appreciation of that flag.
It's Ben Franklin, right? No.
I don't know. I just associate it with right-wing fucking nuts. I have no idea what the origin of that flag is.
It's so fucking funny because they always co-opt shit that we should all believe in the idea of make America great again. But it's like you can't even can't even fucking think. You can't even let that in your head.
I don't know why this reminds me of that Mr. Show sketch where they have the founding fathers coming up with the flag, and it's like the color scheme is designed for people not to be able to shit on it.
They can't poop. Yeah.
The red, white, and blue just makes you physically incapable of shitting on it. It's such a funny sketch.
Yeah, dude. But so many people. It's really, I don't know if I'm sure you have done that. You watch comedy from the 90s and you're like, God, they would not have been they couldn't have gotten away with most of this.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, in the wake of George Floyd and this racial reckoning America's going through, it's stunning to me how many people are have the blackface sketches. And you're like, how the fuck did you not know not to do a blackface sketch, Tina Fey? You're the smartest comedy person out there. There's a lot to unpack.
Yeah. I feel like there was just a time where no one thought it was really offensive. Actually.
I think it was also maybe it was so heightenedly ridiculous as offensive that it's clearly we don't mean this offensively. But it's also but you're also still putting on the blackface makeup. So what's going on here?
And there's also if anybody watches that shit out of context, which they will, there will be a thing called the internet.
Right.
If I could go back a minute, I mean, that's not long enough, but
just smash cut to Jimmy Fallon wiping off the fucking blackface shit. I'm so glad I took this instead of the $5 million.
Yeah. Just to see it. I just go back just to watch him apologize again. Wait, so Adam, we have your words.
Right.
Your 5 words, which are, your 5 words are Brazil, hike, monkeys, friends, and capoeira.
Capoeira, right?
No, capoeirinha.
Oh, capoeirinha. Shit, capoeirinha.
Not capoeira, but I could see why you would go there.
There I went there wrong. Brazil, hike, monkeys, friends, and capoeirinha.
Yep.
All right. Wait, Caitlin, you want to take this one?
I do, but I need to know what this final word is now.
No, you don't. No, you don't. That's part of the thing.
Hold on. Got it. Okay, cool. So, obviously, we've both known Adam for a long time. We know that he's a world traveler, and you decided that you wanted to take a solo trip to Brazil. But the problem is that you don't speak Portuguese. You speak Spanish, and you thought you could make do and get around because they're somewhat similar, but they're not the same. And it turns out that people didn't really like you trying to speak Spanish to them, and you were pretty lonely trying to talk to people, and there was this whole language barrier thing. So at some point, you're trying to order food, this waiter's getting really mad at you, and he says in English to you, take a hike, go take a hike. And you're like, you know what? I know he said it in anger, but I am gonna go take a hike. So you find this little hiking trail in the rainforest, and you're hiking along, and you run into these monkeys. And you're so lonely, and these monkeys are kind of friendly looking, and you're like, I'm going to befriend these monkeys. These monkeys are going to be my friends, and then I'll be less lonely in Brazil. So you try and find ways to charm them. You start telling them some jokes. They do not like this. You try and give them some little treats. They don't like this. You try some capoeira. They don't like that either. But in your backpack, you have the ingredients to make caipirinha, which is a cocktail. And you serve them little baby caipirinha drinks, and they love it because, as we all know, monkeys love to get drunk and fuck shit up. And they become your friends. And then you started to make friends with more people in Brazil because you were the guy that always had monkeys and caipirinha around. And you ended up having a fantastic trip. And that's the story.
I mean, and that sounds very Adam Cayton Holland, too, especially in Brazil where it's like, you know what? I'm just going to walk into the rainforest right here.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. That you nailed it. And great podcasting with you guys. Thanks for having me on.
I finally nailed it.
I mean, if anyone was going to get drunk with monkeys, you'd be on the short list of people.
True.
I think we could pull it off.
I don't trust monkeys sober. You think I'm going to fucking let them get drunk around me? Not a goddamn chance. That's how you get your eyes clawed out.
What? Okay, wait, what's the real story?
Okay.
I didn't know you had such a distrust for monkeys.
Dude, monkeys scare the shit out of me.
I didn't know that. I almost laughed like a monkey because
No, man. They're little. You can't trust them. They're fucking cruel. They're too much like us. They're like people, and I'm not into it.
All right.
Anyway, that's a whole separate can of worms. But okay, the story. My buddy Joe got married to a Brazilian woman in Brazil, and so
where in Brazil? Like Rio or?
No, it was called Minas Gerais, which is kind of like a lot of minerals. It's like center of the country, big like mining area. But in a beautiful little town called Tiradentes, is like a colonial mountain town, really pretty. So Joe, I grew up with Joe. He's a homie, and a bunch of us went down to Brazil to go to the wedding, including me and my friend Gabe. But we're like, all right, we're gonna be in Brazil. We're gonna tour around for like 2 weeks before make a big trip out of it. Gabe and I went to this island called Ilha Grande, and it's a small, beautiful Brazilian beach island. And we were just like, one night we try these caipirinhas, the national drink, and it's like gut rot, just like there's been a lot of sugar, so they're delicious, but it's like the cheap booze of Brazil.
Oh, really? It's like a Mad Dog 2020 of Brazil.
I mean, it's a little classier,
but it's like a Boone's Farm.
Yeah, exactly. It's a Boone's Farm served in little like plastic cups from stands on the side of the street and shit.
Okay.
And so we're like pounding those. Next thing you know, I black out. I'm like waking up the next morning just like, wow, okay, what happened? But we were going to go to this very storied beach that you had to take a boat out to another island. But by the time we got down and got our act together, it was like 1 p.m. And none of the boats would take us to the beach. And Gabe and I are like both very similarly adventurous. So we're like, well, we got to do something. We're just like so painfully hungover. And there's this giant mountain in the middle of the island. It's called like Parrot's Beak, because it looks like a parrot's beak stone, like looking out over the island. We're hiking up to that fucker. So we just like start going, and all the people are like, oh, you need 6 hours to hike to that. And we're like, we're from Colorado. It's fucking fine. So we put like a water in a bag, and Gabe had like a headlamp. So long story short, we get to the top thing. It's like 5 p.m. We get to it. It's a beautiful view. We're like, all right, we did it. We start heading down, and it gets pitch black, like fucking that. And it's exactly what you were saying, Caitlin, like dense jungle, like rainforest jungle. And they're saying there's jaguars on this island and stuff. And you kept so it just gets darker and darker. For the first half hour, we can kind of see the trail. And then then it's black, and it's quiet, and it's like insects and bugs. And you're just like, this is one of those stories, tourists die in Brazil. And so Gabe puts his headlamp on, and I don't have a flashlight. So I'm walking like right behind him, just nervously. And then we kept losing the trail.
Dude. Fuck.
And so Gabe, when we'd lost the trail, one of us would go with the headlamp to look for it, and the other would stay where they were, just in case like we needed to come back to that point. We could go back up and find the trail.
You're separating?
There would be these like 10-minute periods where you're completely alone in the dark jungle. And there were these howler monkeys everywhere. And howler monkeys make this big booming, deafening, like, ooh, ooh, ooh. It's like terrifying.
They also throw shit, don't they? Aren't those the ones that specifically throw shit?
I don't know if it's specifically them, but a lot of monkeys throw shit. That's another reason I just don't even. Don't even. I don't want to go there right now.
That's why I respect them.
It was just I've never felt more alone and like in the middle of fucking nowhere, truly, than those moments when Gabe would go off or I would go off and one was without the other. And so that was essentially, we did this for the next like 3 hours trying to get down. And then we got lower and lower and we could finally see the lights of the city. And we just spilled out into like the town square. And everyone's like, what? We're covered in mud. We're bleeding. It was just a mess. And then we're like, Caipirinhas? Like, you want to hear Caipirinha? Let's do it. And that's pretty much the story. It was just like us lost in the jungle for hours.
Dude, what?
Because we're stupid drunks that started way too late and ignored all the locals' advice.
I mean, and also, like, separating. That always seems like the number one thing. Just like, don't do this, or else you will hear. Can you hear this?
What?
Those are howler monkeys.
Oh no!
Howling.
Yeah, at the time it was kind of like we could yell. You know, if you yelled, you could probably hear Gabe. Yeah. But it was still. It's probably not the soundest advice, but we kept refining the trail. But if we were playing like, you know, I used to watch a lot of Bear Grylls, and I was like, he says never stop moving. So it's just like we got to keep moving the whole time, and because we were out of our water, we were soaked in sweat. It was awful, dude. It was fucking awful.
Yeah, dude.
That's
Wait,
scary.
you remember when Bear Grylls was first coming to prominence? There was already that other show, Survivor Man.
Yes, boy, he left that in the dust.
But I always respected that guy more because he didn't have a crew with him.
Right.
Like that was always the thing about Bear Grylls, where it's like you can't be in that much danger. You've got 5 people with you. Whereas that other dude was just him with like a camera and a fucking what's it called? Wes, that you stand a camera on?
Tripod.
Thank you.
Boy, the entertainment industry's really come to a pause, hasn't it, Sean?
Yeah, Jesus. You know? But dude, yeah, like that is oh man.
There's one out now that you'll love if you like that show called Alone. Couldn't recommend it more highly. They just drop people into the last season was the Arctic, and they record themselves. They have camera equipment. They're completely the fuck out there alone, hunting everything. It's pretty good.
Damn.
Yeah. Alone would be my recommend. That was like, and in my stupid experience hiking, you see these people and they're like, you know, setting snares for squirrels and breaking their legs, falling. It's nuts.
Did you? I mean, like when you got like, because I that moment where you're like, I can already see the look of my family's faces, or like
I know.
I can already see the headlines, or I can already hear the discussions at the parties of like, you hear about Adam and Gabe? They're still missing. They found their corpses suspended from the tree line.
It was also the closest I've been to like a real survival type moment. Yeah, and we were both so scared, but neither one of us wanted to let on that we were scared. So it'd be quiet for a while as we're like trying not to break our ankles because we literally can't see where we're walking very well. And then we would just try to make each other laugh. Like humor came back as a sort of nervous impulse. We kept doing like David Attenborough voice, and we were talking about how stupid we were. Like the rare North American idiot bros traipsed through the Brazilian jungle, and just like we were trying to narrate it like that on how dumb we had been to get in this situation, but it was solely out of nerves.
Yeah.
The 2 young Colorado boys realized that Colorado is but a sapling compared to the tree that is Brazil.
The hubris of the 20-something North American male knows no rival.
That's just the end of that episode. Dude,
Have you ever been in a situation like that, Sean?
What? No, dude. I'm too much of a chicken shit when it comes to like when I'm abroad. I'm anywhere, even if it's like fucking England. I get so worried that I'm gonna offend the local customs somehow. Even in England, where I'm like, fuck, I don't want to piss off these Brits. They might get really passive aggressive towards me.
Well, what's funny is Gabe and I just kept asking people until we got the answer we wanted, because we both speak Spanish, actually, Caitlin, and we would just throw Spanish at the Brazilians, and I think they probably resented it. Unlike you, Sean, we were just like, "Ah, fuck it, this is the language we know."
Yeah.
But it would work between their answers and what we were saying. We could communicate. So
dude.
One guy said it'd take you about 4 hours to get up there, and Gabe and I were like, "But we're in good shape, so like probably 2 for us." And he's like, "No, definitely 4 for everyone." And then we found some other guy, and he's like, "Yeah, I guess maybe 2." And we're like, "Okay, thanks, man." And then we just took that as the key. That's what we wanted to hear, so we're gonna ask till we heard it.
But the guy who said, "Yeah, maybe 2," you look back and he's just doing pull-ups with one arm. It's like, probably take you 2. It takes me about 2. And you're like,
yeah,
okay,
it was actually Neymar, the Brazilian soccer player. He was just on the same island.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I've definitely been in fucking dumb situations, like lost in woods and fucking parts of cities where it's like, what am I doing here? But like the idea of being in the rainforest, you know, like and in a where you can't, where like people don't speak the language. So if you're yelling help, they're like, I don't know what that sounds. What's this animal yelling? Even though
I don't know why, but like maybe a month or 2 before, it was just on TV, and I watched that stupid movie Turistas, which is about it's an awful movie. It's just like boobs and murder. That's like all it is. But it's like these friends in Brazil that get like kidnapped and taken into a like a dungeon and just killed. And that's all I could think of the whole time.
Yeah, dude. That's I mean, the media and Hollywood make you feel like South America is just a murder zone. I mean, I know it has its rough patches.
Got its pockets.
But like for the most part, I don't know, like Brazil seems like that country where it's like, yeah, you turn, you can easily go the wrong way.
And the path was just like, it wasn't like our countries where it's like, this is a national park. Here's the sign. Here's the trail map. It was just kind of like, there you go. And there was a trail that just sort of started and up you went. It was gnarly.
Was this before or after the wedding?
Before, a week before.
Oh, so that would have been my thing the whole time. Like, oh, I can already hear the conversation at the wedding.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we thought we were pretty badass. We told this story to anybody that would listen. But yeah, it was.
And people are just like, oh, that's interesting. And they turn away like, what the fuck is wrong with these kids?
Well, she knew what she was marrying into. My buddy would have done the same dumb shit.
Did you said we're from Colorado. So you definitely grew up. I mean, I guess, yeah, you grew up next to a mountain range. You're going to grow up trailing it.
Yeah, I think, we're live at mile high. I think we're used to more altitude. So I think what we were thinking was like, this isn't going to be that arduous a climb for us. We've done lots of hikes. We're in decent shape. But the hubris was in the fact that we just didn't listen to any of the advice about how long it would take and just said, fuck it.
Wait, where else have you been in South America?
Just there and Ecuador and the Galapagos off of Ecuador.
You've been to the Galapagos Islands?
Yeah, my little sister Lydia studied abroad in Quito. And so we went down there and visited her as a family, and we all went to the Galapagos.
That sounds awesome.
What is it? Did you see whatever fucking Darwin saw that made him come up? Didn't he come up with the theory of evolution on those islands?
Yeah, because things change from island to island to island. So, and they don't leave the islands really. So it's kind of like, because there's no predators for a lot of the species. Like it was the finches, the variation in finches from across the island chain of how they adapted. So yeah, you can see it.
That's crazy.
There's also birds there that have evolved. Like, do you know what a cormorant is?
I mean, of course I don't, but I know you do. You probably have a tattoo of one.
This is where you can listen. You can actually hear your listeners just tuning out at this point. They're like, I don't even want to do this at all.
Oh no, this is where we want the real listeners, the ones who are like, all right, this is why I came for the cormorant.
Cormorant is a very common bird. I guarantee they're in lakes in Central Park in New York. It's a very common water bird. In the Galapagos, there's the cormorants that you see anywhere you see in the United States, but they've just evolved to not have flight because they don't need to fly. So they don't have any predators there, and their wings are like these little shrunken, shriveled wings, And so you're just like, what? That's the bird that's in the park by my house, but it's got no fucking wings. It's so weird.
That's very odd.
And that's the evolution of it all.
So it's like they're like beach penguins,
They're fucking beach penguins.
right?
That's the new slur for a cormorant. Get a load of this fucking beach penguin.
They listen to too much Jimmy Buffett, man. They're just hanging out. They're parrot-head pigeons. I'm gonna call them parrot-head pigeons.
Get a job, beach penguin.
Yeah.
You fucking parrot-head pigeon. Wasted away again in Galapagos in Titoville.
They're just hacky sacking, wasted on caipirinhas.
Just somehow they got them flown in from some other birds.
Yeah.
Flew them in from fucking to the. That's that. You see, Adam has traveled all over the world, and to mimic Rory from Hattiesburg, Mississippi's question from earlier, but you can think about this one. What you think the most beautiful country that you've been to on this planet?
Oh man, that's really hard.
Or your favorite?
Really hard.
Your favorite?
Probably the coolest trip I've taken, just because of how empty the country is, how sparsely populated. Mongolia is incredible.
Really?
Mongolia is like a beautiful, and I'm biased, but honestly, it reminds me of like a high alpine valley in the Rocky Mountains for like most of the country.
Oh,
and
wow.
And you would go an entire day without seeing a person, just driving and driving and driving, and then you'd see like nomads with their yaks and their like cart, and it's just so just out there. Yeah, it was otherworldly. I would love to go back to Mongolia.
I want to go there. I can't wait to travel again.
I know, right?
I think it's
reminded me of like the only time I've ever been in a situation like that was in Cambodia.
Wow.
I took a scuba course in which we like lived on an island that only had 11 inhabitants, and every day we slept in these like weird tent things, and then every day we would go dive all day. There was one day that there was like a hurricane, and we had to park the boat on the other side of the island and hike across it because the waves were too crazy. And so it's like thundering, and there's like 4 of us, and we all wore flip-flops because we thought we would be parking on the right side of the island. And so we're just slipping down all these rocks, and it's getting darker. But for some reason, it wasn't scary to me. I think because I like trust authority without questioning it. And I was like, this is a trip that I paid for, so this will be fine. And I will just and everything worked out. But yeah.
I'm sure this Cambodian scuba company is on the up and up when it comes to hurricane preparedness.
right. Yeah. Everyone knows when you think public safety, you think Cambodia. Regulations.
That sounds cool, though, Kayla. That sounds like it was probably pretty amazing, ultimately.
Yeah, that was a great trip. Super cool.
I mean, scuba diving in Cambodia right there is, you put that on a resume. Someone's like, get them in here for an interview.
Yeah.
You guys are in luck. The Malcolm man just woke up.
Oh, shit. Malcolm's making an appearance. Here comes Junior.
Say hi to Caitlin and Sean.
What up, buddy?
You got he's got Rupert. That's his little doll baby he sleeps with, and this is his sleep sack. Can you say hi? Okay.
He's like, I don't know. I don't even understand what this is. A podcast.
I'll finish the podcast up, and then we'll play, buddy, man. Whoa.
Later, bud.
Sorry about
Good
that.
to see Malcolm again. He looks like
I really enjoyed that about the Zoom podcast, is like people being like, and here's this cat that I got, and like, here's my kid.
Yeah.
Here's my little
nice.
son.
We're all like that viral clip of that guy's kid walking in the background when he was on the news. Remember that? That was great.
Yeah. Wait, so where Adam has an album that we're gonna so when we release this, it will have come out yesterday.
Oh, so the world's probably gonna have changed. Like everything's gonna there's before the album came out and after.
Right. So it's probably by this point, if you're listening to this now, it's probably already sold out its first print because you're doing print only.
Right. Even though it's digital, it's out. They can't. No more downloads are left.
Yeah. It's over. It's busted 2 servers, and they're waiting to set up a 3rd server so more people can get served this album.
But there's still a wait list, so make sure you get on the wait list.
Get on the wait list.
When people get on the wait list?
What's it called?
Well, It's called Semblance of Normalcy.
Ah.
On Comedy Central Records, and it's out, and I actually think there are some downloads left. That just released a bunch, so go out and download it now. It is available.
This is the one you recorded at Union Hall?
No, that was my last one. I recorded this one at Portland Helium.
Nice.
Yeah, I played there for the first time ever, and at the end of last year, and I thought, I'm gonna record. This is a good club. I'm gonna record, and I'm so glad I did, because then this shit hits, and I was like, well, I got an album, and so I was able to get it going.
There you go. Adam Cayton Holland, TV show on Max. It's on HBOmax right now.
It's going to be.
That's great. So be on the lookout for those who can't. It's the most underrated TV show ever. And
Sean Patton has a cameo as Zane, mayoral candidate.
Oh shit!
Zane.
I am in that show. Fuck. Oh yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. You're in that show.
That, and you got the book out, and you got now what? Your third album?
Yeah. Third album. No, fourth.
Fourth album.
Fourth album. Yeah.
Good title.
So fucking
Thank you.
Get some Adam Cayton Holland in your life. The socials are all what? Adam Cayton Holland.
Nope, just Cayton Holland. CaytonHolland. Oh, and shit, I got to start plugging. My buddies and I who did Those Who Can't have a great podcast called The Grolix Saves the World. We're having a lot of fun doing it.
You do have to check that out.
GRAWLIX, The Grolix Saves the World.
Yay.
Yeah. Do all
Those
this.
are my plugs. No more shilling. Back to whales and birds.
That's which is the title of your fifth album.
Yes.
Yeah, back to whales and birds.
So it's actually the whole thing. No more shilling. Back to whales and birds.
Yeah. My next album's going to be called fucking Beach Penguin. So
these fucking beach penguins.
Fucking beach penguins.
Let me send you some kind of draw-ups about how I envision the cover. I'll send you a few ideas.
Fuck, please, dude. Like I said, you've probably got this bird tattooed on you already. Adam is not only a wonderful auteur in all the ways we've mentioned, but he's also a dear friend. It's great to fucking have you on, man.
Yeah.
It's great. Thanks for having me. It's nice to see you guys.
I know.
You too.
Do this and not record it at some point.
For sure. Let's have a Zoom drink like it was early quarantine or something.
No.
All right, bud. Thank you so much. Have fun with the baby. Tell Katie what's up.
Yeah.
Adam Cayton Holland.